Let us now first pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liaoming, homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Jundi Buddha Mother. Om Tsuli Tsuli Chunti Soha, the mantra of Jundi. Sumo Tanchen Katso Tutten Siddhi. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do?
你好，大家好。愛してる。사랑해。Hola amigo。Que quiero mucho。すごい。一番。気持ちいい。住民。やび。プリンプリン。こんばんは。
Good evening, everyone. Today we practice Mahajundi Buddha Mother, the great victorious Vajra. We pray that her victor can eradicate all of the viruses. And today we mention the academician, Professor Zhu. That he's been delivered last night when I got home at about 1 a.m. After 1 a.m. I performed Bardo deliverance. And I saw the academician Professor Zhu. He came. I asked him to take the first seat on the Dharma ship, and he did got on it and sat on the first seat. But there were two things happened. When he sat on the first seat of the first Dharma ship of the 1,000 ships, so on the first seat of the 1,000 ships, 1,000 Dharma ships, they were Professor Zhu. So I Bardo delivered one person, but it turned out that on the first seat of each of the ship of the 1,000 Dharma ships, there were Professor Zhu on it. And all the Bardo spirits with affinity saw that the body of Professor Zhu radiated light. On his body there was infinite light and hundreds of precious lights, pure lights. There are all kinds of radiance on his body. The hundreds of precious light, the pure light, and the infinite light on his body. And all the destined Bardo spirits shouted that today the Bodhisattva came. And quickly the thousands of Dharma ships flew to the sky. And they chanted the Buddha's epithet, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And the Dharma ships quickly arrive at the Sukhavati, the Western paradise. And all the destined spirits all got to the other shore. And at that time, Professor Zhu merged into the body of Amitabha Buddha, who met him. So Amitabha Buddha, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva all came to welcome Professor Zhu to come to guide or lead him. So I kept thinking, curious, was it I who Bardo delivered, or was it him? Was it he who Bardo delivered? So it was unclear. I used the thousands of Dharma ships to do Bardo deliverance, and he came, and then he sat on the first seat, and one person transformed into 1,000 persons. And then the Dharma ships followed the procedure and arrived at the other shore. And then he merged into the body of Amitabha Buddha. So let me tell you a fact. Today, when I called on his name, he also came. The academian Professor Zhu Shiyi, or Shiyi Zhu. So he's among us. That was last night. What happened when I performed the Bardo deliverance. And early this morning, he also came to Seattle Lezang Temple. And he merged with Grandmaster. That's a great spiritual response. So the Bardo deliverance yesterday, as that I was performing the Bardo deliverance, and Professor Zhu was also performing the Bardo deliverance. We all know
学识非常的广博
that
朱师仪
his
院士
knowledge was
非
very
常广博
vast
他是台
and
大
broad.
台湾大学
He was
这个
Taiwan University's
化学系的
chemistry
学士，
field
然后台湾大学
scholar
化
or
学系的硕士，
academician. Oh, I see. A bachelor's degree from the
Right.
chemistry,
清
in
华大
chemistry,
学
and then
物理系
the
的
Taiwan,
博士，
a master's degree from something, and then a PhD from 清华
美国
University,
哈佛大学
and
化学物理系的博士，
also a PhD from Harvard University in
这
chemistry
个
and
化学
physics.
物理系的博士，哈佛大学哦。
So
美国
from
最好的
Harvard
大学
University, the best university in the US.
然后他也获得了院士，
And he
中央研究院
also
的院
became
士，
an academician
还有
in
他得到
Taiwan.
了
That's
非
what they
常
call.
很多的荣誉，很多的荣誉。
It's a higher scholar.
他是量
And
子力学，
He got lots of
量
honorable
子力
mentions.
学，
And
我是
he
搞不
was
清楚
also
什么是量子力
quantum
学，
physics.
他是量
I
子
don't know
力
what
学
quantum
的
physics
权
is
威。
all about, but he's a pioneer in
另外还有一个叫做
quantum
强物，
physics.
我也搞不
And
清楚什么叫做强物，
Me too.
最强的物，也是属于力
强
学
物
方面的，
It's one of the
它是这方
basically
面的
physics, an area of physics.
权威。
So
他的一
he's
生
one of the
就是跟着师尊听法，
pioneers in
学法，
some of those. But all his life he
他
followed
宗教
Grand
听法，
Master
跟着师尊
in learning the
听
Buddha
法，
Dharma, listening to the
学法，
Buddha Dharma, learning the
修法。
Buddha Dharma, and practicing the Buddha Dharma.
他很尊崇师尊，师尊知道。
He highly revered Grandmaster, and Grandmaster knows that.
他的成就非常的好。
So his
在这里
attainment was
这个
marvelous.
也很尊敬他，
So here we
希
also
望他能够
respect him very much,
以他的
and
灵
we hope
去教化
that
众生。
using his spirit body,
这个灵
he
是心，是安宁的
delivers
灵，
and teaches
密
sentient
教里面
beings.
叫灵体，灵，安宁的灵，
Oh,
体是身体的体，
so in Tantric Buddhism
密
it's
教叫
called
做
the
灵体，那
a
是至高
peace
的菩提，
body,
以他至高的菩提
which is the highest body
教化众生。
to teach sentient beings.
这个能够有一个朱实仪院士变成1000个
The
朱实
fact
仪
that
院士，
one
那
Professor
个
Zhu
就是
could
身外
become
化
a
身，
thousand Professor
身外
Zhus.
化身，
That's
叫做身外化
out of
身。
body transformations.
而且他可以放出那么多的光明，
And he was able to
证明
radiate
是菩萨。
such great light.
而
He's
且
the same
融入
as
阿弥陀佛
Bodhisattva.
的
And
身
he
中，
merged into the body of Amitabha Buddha.
这就是子光跟母光
So that was
互相融合在一
the
起。
merging of the child
这是
light
关于
with the
昨
mother
天
light.
晚上度化这个朱实仪
So
验视的经过。
that was what happened when I was delivering Professor Zhu last night.
在说法之前呢
before the Dharma teachings,
先讲个笑话吧啊。
let me share a joke first.
有一个年轻人问大师，
A young man asked the
我不
master,
明白你们出家人
I don't
为
understand
什么总是说
why
阿弥陀佛，
you
到底是什么
monks
意思？
always say Namo Amitabha. What does it mean?
我
And
总
the
不能
master
跟你们
replied,
凡夫一样的整天，
of course
我
I
操，
cannot be
我
like
靠，
you
你好，
cursing
我们
all
总
day
有
long,
一个
right?
属于自己的口头禅吧。
So we have our own.
把阿弥陀佛当成口头禅，
So
这个是
they treat Amitabha as like a cliche, you know, as a pet
有一个
phrase.
顾客在咖啡店里面喊，这个
There was a customer in a
广
cafe
告
and
中
said,
说你们自
Waiter,
己制作混合咖啡，
in your
但是
ad
这
you
根
said
本不
that
是混合咖啡的味道。
that you
这个
prepare
waiter 回
your
答，
own
这
a
就是混
combination
合咖啡，
coffee, but this
不
is
过
not
是昨天跟今天
it.
的咖啡混合而成。
And then the waiter replied, yeah, of course it's a combination coffee. It's a combination of yesterday's and today's coffee.
这个小明呢找算命先生算命，
So Xiaoming went to the
算命
fortune
先生
teller,
讲，
and the fortune
你
teller
命
said,
中注定25岁结婚，
in your destiny you will get
30
married
岁
at
生孩子，
25, have
生
a
富
child
贵。
at 30, and live
小明
a
讲，我
rich
今年
life.
已经35岁了，
And Xiaoming said, but I'm already 35 today. I mean this year.
也是个博士毕业，
I'm a
怎么现
PhD.
在还是单身？
How come I'm
穷
still
光蛋就是
single and poor?
那算命先生就讲，难道你没有听过吗？
Well,
知
the
识
fortune
可以
teller
改变
said,
命运。
didn't you know that knowledge changes your destiny?
知识可以改变命运的。
So knowledge can change your destiny. Now we'll do question and answer.
印尼安德里
From Indonesia,
科里亚蒂，
Andri Rico Riati.
南无莲生佛大师，
Namo
我是来自
Buddha Lian Sheng,
杜
the
尼西
Grandmaster.
亚的一名学生，
I am a student
名
from
字叫做
Indonesia,
安德里
and my name is Andri
利亚蒂，
Rico
是
Riati.
印尼文。
That's Indonesian.
希望能得到你的应用，许我提
Please
问
allow
以下
me
的
to
问题。
ask a question.
这是白说吗？那你本来就在问啊。
So that's redundant, right? You're already asking a question.
因为从小就失明，
Because I was
很
blind
难观想
since
形象，
childhood, it is difficult for
不
me
知
to
是否
visualize
可
and
以想
imagine.
象根本上
May I
师的声
imagine
音，
lineage Guru's
取代
voice
观想根本上师的
instead
画
of
像，
his image?
便请教导从小失明的我，
As for me,
在
who's
观想
blind,
供养食物
what is the best
火
way
供方
to
面，
visualize offering
如
of
何
food
可
or
以
fire
最好的
offering?
方式供养根
The
本
best
上
way
师
to visualize
及佛菩萨。
offerings
谢谢你，
to lineage root Guru
南无
and
莲生佛。
Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
从小
Thank
失
you.
明，
Namo Buddha Lian Sheng.
很
So
难观想形象。
blind
从小
since
失明，
childhood.
如
difficult and to imagine an image. This is very difficult to answer, right? He's blind since childhood. He hasn't seen images of Grandmaster, of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or everything. How to visualize food? Fire offering. Is he or she doing fire offering? This is strange. What is the best way to visualize offerings to lineage root guru and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas?
想象根本上师的声音来取代观想。
Imagine lineage root guru's voice instead of his image.
来取代根本上师的法相。
So use voice instead of image.
是不是可以做到？
Can he do it?
我告诉你啊，观世音。
观世音
也是可以观想，声音也是。什么叫做观世音呢？
观世音 or Avalokitesvara is, what is that? Use your eyes to see the sounds, so you can visualize sound too. So that's 观世音。
我不怎么讲，
right?
就是文字吧。什么叫观世音？
That's the literally. So what is Guan Yin or Guan Si Yin? That you can even observe the sounds. So you can also visualize sounds or voices. So now let me tell you, Andri, Rico, Riyadi. Yes, you can use the voice to visualize Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and the lineage root guru. So if you use the voice or sounds to visualize, then you are Guan Si Yin, because Guan Si Yin Bodhisattva can visualize sounds and voices. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva is a Bodhisattva that can visualize sounds and voices. Avalokitesvara or Guan Si Yin. So what would be the best way to visualize offerings to lineage root guru and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? You use your heart and you just think of the best things that you can think of. Or you use your hand to touch the best thing, the best kinds of things, and then you offer it with your heart. That would be the best way to offer to the lineage root guru and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, right?
你既然眼睛失明，但是
because you have lost your sight, but you still have good food to eat, so you can visualize and offer that. And you have bed to lie on, so you can offer your bed and bed things. If you have a dog to lead the blind person, then you can visualize the dog as offering. If you have walking sticks, then you can also offer that walking stick. Anything. anything can be offered.
所以用你的心
So use your heart to visualize things as and offer it to the lineage Guru and Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That would be the best offering. That's for a student from Indonesia. The answer to the student in Indonesia. From Malaysia, asked by Lian Hua Jiamei, wholeheartedly homage to Grandmaster. When the mind and qi are in union, that is meditation. But qi follows the mind. When would qi be not in union with the mind? And if they are not in union, how should we remedy it? Thank you, Grandmaster, for your advice. Wish you great health. Your house must be beautiful, because her name is like beautiful house. Your question is contradictory. You're asking me how qi and mind are not in union, and then if the mind and qi are not in union, how should we remedy it? You don't even know. You don't even know what it is about when qi and mind are not in union, and then you're asking how to remedy it? So let me tell you, qi is on the surface. Qi is on the surface. You know that qi is there. When you breathe, there's qi. Right? Can you feel the qi? You can feel it. You can feel the qi. Or when you pant, that's the rushing qi. So when you cannot feel the qi at all, you don't feel that you're breathing, that means that your mind is very quiescent. But when you puff and huff, then your mind is also chaotic. So the mind is intangible, formless. When qi moves, the mind also moves. So during meditation, we teach you to have the mind and qi be in union, is to teach you to breathe extremely fine. Then your mind will quiet down. Otherwise, when you're angry, how can your mind be quiet? Try it. I'm in a bad mood. You're angry. Then your qi is moving. Then the body also moves, the sound moves, the face gets red, and the neck thickens. The eyes were at first calm, and they became red-eyed. When you're angry, there's fire in the eyes, and you will have red eyes, and your face also red, and the neck is thickened. at that time the mind is at its worst. So it's the least quiescent is when you're angry. So that's why when you're angry, you would be like a mad person, and you throw everything out, even your antiques, and then you think, oh, this is too expensive, and then they stop. This is too expensive. I cannot throw it. Otherwise, some people, when they get angry, they would throw things and even break the TVs. Really, you can be affected. This past 1 to 2 years, all I see is about injections. You know that I'm most scared of injections. And then every time on the television, they always show injections. It's like injecting my heart. I am most scared of injections, of needles. And every day they do injections for 2 years. They haven't stopped. So, do those influence you? If you're a true spiritual cultivator, your mind doesn't move, your chi doesn't move. Your chi is immobile, and quickly you can quiet down, and you can concentrate and focus. And when the mind and chi are in union, that is meditation. The chi is extremely fine, and you focus on your own counting the breath until you reach when it's impossible to focus on your own breath because it's extremely fine. Then the thought would stop. You don't generate any thought anymore. Then you reach the realm of no thought, or even one thought. That is meditation. When you only have one thought, which is the thought of breathing, that's also meditation. So one thought then enters into no thought. That is meditation. So when the mind and chi are not in union, the mind follows chi. So when chi and mind are not in union is when you're coarse. Then your mind will not quiet down. Only when you breathe extremely finely, then the mind can be in quiescence mode. And at that time, mind and chi are in union. But when they are not, how should we remedy it? You can use the counting your breath and visualization of your breath. You visualize your breath. You count your breath. That's great. That's very good. There are several visualizations that are very good. The visualization of impurity, of counting your breath, or you visualize the face or the image of a Buddha and look up there. The 7 Buddhas are very calm and peaceful. The eyes are looking at the nose looking at the heart. The eyes looking at the tip of the nose, and the nose looking at the heart. That's how it is. You visualize Buddha's and Bodhisattva's face, and you focus on their face, on their eyes, on the third eye, and then you would become one. That's how you remedy it. So visualization is to remedy your chi, your chaotic qi. When mind and qi are in union and you're single-minded and you don't generate any thoughts anymore, that is meditation. And when you have one thought, that's also meditation, because one thought is you're visualizing. That's the answer to Lian Hua Jia Mi from Malaysia. Okay, now we talk about the Vajra Sutra. The wife told the husband, in the future, wake me up every morning. I want to jog in the morning to lose weight. And on the first day, the husband wake her up, and she said, I'm dizzy today. Let's see tomorrow. On the second day, the husband called the wife up, and the wife said, so cold today. Let's see tomorrow. On the third day, the husband woke her up. Get up, get up. And the wife said, quiet, shut up, shut up, I want to sleep. On the fourth day, the wife got up by herself and yelled, how come you didn't call me, didn't wake me up? So the wife's always right. Yeah, I feel that the wife is always right. She's never wrong. In reality, that's the case. In reality, that's the case. Let's not talk about it. She's never wrong, even when she's wrong. You're the one that's wrong. You see it wrong. That's because you see it wrong. So nothing wrong. No. So today we will expound on Vajracchedika Prajna Paramita Sutra, is by the indestructible wisdom to attain the unexcelled attainment. So the sutra that contains the indestructible wisdom to attain the unexcelled attainment. So the ceremony of the Vajra Sutra has started. Thus have I heard. I here primarily refer to Ananda and all the audience to the Dharma teaching. So this I referred to Ananda, listening to Sakyamuni Buddha giving Dharma teaching, as well as all the disciples. That's what this statement means, thus have I heard. So this is as if you were there to hear the discourse of Sakyamuni Buddha. So this I referred to Ananda. Ananda's memory was number one. he's the best.
他的记忆力最好，这就是如是我闻。他能够记得释迦牟尼所讲过的一切话。
He could remember all the words that Sakyamuni Buddha had spoken.
这种记忆力
I thought this kind of memory, nobody could have such a great memory. So I just, it's hard to believe. Is there such a person nowadays? I don't remember either. So today, the quantum mechanics of Professor Zhu, this morning, since the morning, I kept thinking about the quantum mechanics. What is it? Is it the electric or which one? So, and then this quantum mechanics popped up, these two words, and I thought about it for so long. So it took me so long just to remember this quantum mechanics. So how could I? But Ananda had a tremendous memory. So Ananda and the people who supplemented, so, and all the people who listened to the teaching of Sakyamuni Buddha, that's why there were compilations. So everybody was discussing it. Did Sakyamuni Buddha say this? And they said yes, and then they recorded it. So that's what it meant. Thus have I heard. At the beginning of every sutra is always these 4 words that refer to Ananda and the assembly of monks who listened to the Buddha. One time the Buddha was staying at Jetavana Grove. Sravasti, everybody knows. The Buddha at Sravasti and Jetavana Grove, that's the Jetavana Vihara. The Buddha had stayed at 3 places. One is a cave in the Vulture Peak, and then the Venavasa Vihara, and then the last one is Jetavana Vihara. So Jeta, what does it mean, Jeta? Jeta is a tree. No, that's wrong. So that there's someone called Zito Taizi that owned this grove. And the elder Gegudu went to the woods or the grove, and Sariputra was the one who checked the feng shui and geomancy. He went all over Sravasti and found this place. So there was it's a great philanthropist of the Sravasti country, was called Jetavana, elder. So if you are an orphan, a widower, or any single man that are poor and needy, the philanthropist would give them food and board. So this great philanthropist was called the Jetavana. the elder Jetavana, and he wanted to donate a grove to Sakyamuni Buddha. And Sariputra liked this grove. And the grove was Zito Taizi, belonged to the Zito Taizi. And this Zito Taizi told Jetavana, to Sariputra or Jetavana, that if, to Jetavana, if you can cover all the ground with gold, then I would sell it to you. So finally, the owner sold it to this elder Jetavana. Now do you understand? But he covered the ground, but not the trees. There are lots of trees in the woods, in the grove. So who offered the trees? And Zito Taizi, the owner, because you already offered the ground to Sakyamuni Buddha, so he offered the trees to Sakyamuni Buddha. Therefore, it was called Jetavana Grove. So the grove belonged to Zito Taizi, and Jetavana wanted to buy it. And the owner said, if you cover the ground with gold, whichever that was covered, then I would sell it to you. And Jetavana was very rich because he was a great philanthropist, specializing in giving to the widower or singles room and board for them. So he did cover the ground and offered it to Sakyamuni Buddha. And the trees were not covered by gold, but the trees belonged to Zito Taizi, and he offered them to Sakyamuni Buddha too. Therefore, it became Jetavana Grove, and in short, Jetavana. So now you understand. One time the Buddha was staying at Jetavana Grove. Some people translated it wrong. So, Zisu. And they translated into rootless trees. But that actually meant the trees of the Zito Taizi that gave to the Jetavana, who was offered to Sakyamuni Buddha. And the geomancy and feng shui of this place was consulted by Sariputra. With an assembly of 1,250 monks, that many people. When it was time to make the alms round, it's time to eat, Sakyamuni Buddha donned his robe, took up his bowl, and entered the great city of Sravasti, going from door to beg for food. After the alms round, he returned to the monastery and ate his meal. He then put away his robe and bowl, washed his feet, prepared his seat, and sat down. It's time, it's dinner time, meal time. Eating in Taiwanese is called jiabeng. In Cantonese, it's called sitfan. In Malay and Indonesia, It's called makan nasi.
国语呢，吃
In
饭，
Chinese,
对不对？
eat.
啊，我们就讲中午的时候就讲那个
Or
南
have
极餐，
your meal. Or at noon,
这
we
个
would
晚
say
上呢就丁鸭
lunchtime.
饭，
At night, dinner time.
早上呢是 breakfast
In the morning, breakfast.
啊 ，breakfast。这个吃
Breakfast.
饭呢有学问，大茄叶去起
So, even
专
in
找
eating,
穷人，
there is
释迦牟尼问他，
it's
你为
knowledge.
什么专门找这个穷的去起？
So for alms begging,
他说，
Sakyamuni
要给穷
Buddha
人
asked Mahakashyapa, who especially
让他
begged
们
from
将来
the
会变
poor.
富有。
So he said
这是大
because
茄
he wanted to wish the poor to
大
become
茄
rich
吃
in the
得像
future
什么样
lives.
子？
So therefore, Mahakashyapa became like Lian Xu.
阿难尊者专门向
And
最
Ananda
有钱的人起，
especially begged from
阿难尊
when
者
for alms begging
好了，
from the rich people.
释迦牟尼问他，
And
你
Sakyamuni
为
Buddha
什么
asked
专门
him,
向最有钱的人起？
why do you beg from the
阿难回
rich
答，
people?
我要
And
减
Ananda
少
replied,
穷人的负担。
because I want to lessen the
穷人
burden
要
of
供
the
养我，
poor.
他已经很穷了，要
And
掏
if
出
the
食
poor
物来
people
供养我，
offers to him, and
所以
they're
他要
already
专
so
门向
poor
富
and
人
they
起。
still have to give to me.
所以阿难吃
So
得像
he couldn't bear
仙
that,
人
so he
化
especially asked from the rich people. So that's why Ananda is like reference Shenren.
你看两个人站起来差别很大，一个
So
仙
it's
人
big
这样子，
difference between the two of
一
them.
个连续干干瘦瘦，大茄叶就是干干瘦瘦的，
One is Shenren, one is Lian Xu.
阿难就是
Mahakashyapa
肥肥胖
is
胖
very
的，
thin and skinny, and Anand is
两
fat
个人
and
讲的都有道
round.
理。佛说，你们两个是讲的都有道理，
They all
也
make
说没有
sense,
道理。
but they also not make sense.
你们没有平等观，
Nonsensical. They don't have, you don't have
你出去
the
化缘，
mind of equality. When you go for the alms round or alms begging,
你碰到什么就吃什么，
then you eat whatever
没有你
given to
挑选
you.
的，
You don't choose.
你有选择就是左偏的。
If you choose, then
释
you're
迦牟尼佛的
slanted.
教训是这样哦，吃
Then you've gone off.
你要平等观，你不能
So
挑食。
that's how Sakyamuni Buddha was. You have
出家
to,
人就是这样子，今天有什么
you
吃什么，
cannot have any discrimination, have to be equal. You
你
eat
今
whatever
天
given
碰到
to
穷
you.
人，
That's how the Sangha
就
member
吃
should
穷人
be.
的东西。
So if you
今天碰
encounter
到
a
富
poor
人，
person, then you eat
很
the
有
food
钱
of a poor
就
person.
吃富人。
If you eat a rich man tomorrow,
吃有
then
学
you
问，
eat the food of the rich person. So there's a meaning in this eating.
佛讲
The Buddha said,
一个专门向穷人乞食，一个
one
专门向富人乞食，
is one
这个是没有
especially
平等观的，
beg from the poor people, the other
都
one
是左偏的，
get the
一个
alms
偏向穷
from
人，
the
一个偏
poor,
向富
one
人，
from the rich.
两个都不对。
They're both wrong because they have
有什么
gone
吃什
off.
么，就是行者
So you
本身
eat whatever you have.
不能挑食，
That's how a practitioner
这
should
一点
be.
要注意了。
You should not be selective.
挑食
You have to pay
对
attention. If you're selective, that's wrong.
我告诉你哦，大茄叶不得了的，它是很了不起的。
Let me tell you that
它的
Mahakashyapa
死
was
啊，它的
incredible.
活佛第一呀，不
Let
是
me
随
tell
便
you.
起的。
His death
为什么他到最后会离开释迦牟尼
was
佛的
not.
身体？
So why did he leave Sakyamuni Buddha's Sangha?
因为啊，释迦牟尼佛后来
Last,
他知道
because
竹林精舍
Sakyamuni
入道
Buddha left
这个
lived at the Vasuvana Vihara. So even the living is also important, also meaningful. So in how he eats, how he wears, how he lives, and how he transports are different than other people. So how he eats, when food was offered, he would first visualize. He visualized before he ate. The same with us. We make offering to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and offered to the sentient beings. And then you visualize the food to become pu. Become pu, and the soup becomes pi. So drink the pi and eat the pu. So that's what you should do at first. A practitioner should remember, not only have the mind of equality, you have to visualize the food and drink to become the most inedible stuff. So you drink the pi, not drink the wine. You eat pu. So that's the first kind of eating. Why did Mahakasyapa leave the Sangha? Because Sakyamuni Buddha went to live in the Jetavana Grove. That was a luxurious mansion. Of course, Mahakasyapa did not want to live there. Instead, he lived at the cemetery in between the tombs. He lived in the caves. He lived under the trees. That's how Mahakasyapa was. That's why he was one of the great disciple. He did not live in the mansion, in the vihara. He did not sleep on the bed. He lived in the caves, under the trees, and he did not even lie down when he slept. He would sit sleeping. That was Mahakasyapa. So he's first and foremost in abiding by the precepts, not like Ananda, who slept like a pig. So Ananda and Mahakasyapa did not get along with each other. One is like Lian Xu, and one is like Shen the body, the figures are different. One is so fat, and one is like this. Mahakasyapa. And his fingers were like chicken feet. And then now we're talking about wearing. So how did Sakyamuni Buddha wear his clothes? It is with a piece of cloth. So what is the first kind of wearing. So in the cemetery there were many cloths that was used to wrap the corpses, and they took that and they wrap it around their own body. That's how they wear. That's the way Mahakashyapa wore his clothes. And the way they wore that was a little bit like the way the Thai monks are wearing their robe nowadays. They still maintain it a little bit. Not like us wearing the skirt and the shirt, and that would be the Lama outfit. And then you also wear a robe. I mean, like a big scarf, which is called the samadhi cloth. That's already changed. But the true one is that just a piece of cloth and wrap around the body, and it's not a good piece of cloth either. So it's like cloth that was used to wrap corpses in India when people died. So there's also meaning in wearing. Do you know how to wear it? If I take a piece of cloth, like the one worn by Theravada or Hinayana monk, so donned his Sangati robe, took up his arm bowls, and entered the great city of Sarvasti. So they walk bare feet then. Nowadays, monks wear slippers, or they even wear leather shoes, but they worn straw sandals, and because in India it rained a lot during the summer monsoon season. Because of the rain, many insects would come out, and then if you go around for alms round, then you would step on the insects, so they didn't want to kill. So they had to retreat for 3 months during the summer's rainy season. So after the alms round, he returned to his place, which is the Jetavana Vihara, and everyone ate their meals and put away the robe and bowl, the alms bowl, wash the feet, because they went bare feet. The feet would be dirty, so you have to wash the feet. And the seat, they call it like and they prepare, they maybe place some mats on the seat and sit down. Accordingly. So, we talk about the clothings, which is the cloth of a corpse wrapped around the body, and the abode. So, if they're an ascetic, they would live in caves or under the trees. And for transport, it's bare feet. That's in Taiwanese.
那这一段
Walk
大家有什么意见？
or travel bare feet. So, any opinion
但是
on
后
this
来
piece?
这个大前夜就离开僧团，为什么？
And then later, Mahakashyapa left the Sangha. Why?
而且释迦
Left
牟尼
the
佛也接受
monastic group.
共餐，
Because the group
释
has
迦牟尼佛
changed.
到最后也接受共餐。
Toward the end, Sakyamuni Buddha also accepted offerings from donators, benefactors. They wanted to offer to the Sangha, and so they all went.
佛陀到最后也接受。
So at the end,
穿的衣服
the
也有
Buddha
改变，
also accepted offerings
从
of
以前的
meals,
国史部变成
and
那个好像是说
the outfit, the clothing's also different.
人家不要的
From the corpse cloth became a kind of cloth that's like quilt. So pieces of cloth, of discarded cloth,
那个叫
pieced
板
together
叫
and
板
then made
人家不
into
要的布丢掉了，把它
clothings.
捡起来，把它缝成衣服。
That's called bainai. So, quilt of
这样可以理
unwanted
解
cloth
刚刚
thrown
所
away
讲
by
的吧。
people. So now you understand about what
那
I
古
just
代的
explained.
佛陀，最早的时候的佛陀，他是住岩洞，
The Buddha, at his earliest time, lived in the cave,
竹林精
and
舍。
then someone made
后
an
来更有
offering
供养，
of the
整
Venavana,
个豪宅，
Venuvana
紫
Vihara.
岩精舍，
And then later on,
是指
there
腹
was
给
another one, another
这个就是
donator who donated a beautiful, luxurious house, which is Jetavana Vihara. And that was a beautiful place where Sariputra checked the geomancy.
啊，这一段讲完了。
So now I finish this chapter.
所以现在我们的修行啊，
So
真的
our spiritual cultivation nowadays, really,
太便宜你们这些啦，光头。
it's too
太便宜
easy
了。
and too nice for
人
all of
气
you.
不是不吃好的，他是肠胃不好。
Lian Shi is not that he is restraining himself, but because he had bad digestive
你
system.
看他要观想
He's
哎
not like
大爷要观
Mahakashyapa.
想哎，
Mahakashyapa
拿到好
had
吃
to
的东西，把它
visualize.
观想成为铺，
Even when he got
观想成为
tasty food, he had to visualize it to become poo and to become
屁屁，
pee.
观想成为屁屁。你看，吃还要做这样子的观想。
So you have to visualize like that even when eating.
那我们密教的就更不同了，密教的知道了。
And for us tantric practitioners,
啊，每吃一样
it's
东
more
每
different.
吃一样东西都要观想的，
We have to
太
visualize
好了。
each of the food
还
we
要打麻
eat.
妆啊，
You're so
做成有
fortunate.
期限的。
And they wear, I mean, they make lama outfit with shapes.
打麻妆还做成有期限的，哦
Oh,
哦。对。老师问小明：“你会游泳吗
the teacher asked
小明
Xiaoming,
答
do you know how
会
to swim? And Xiaoming said no.：“
老师讲，
And the
狗
teacher
都会
asked,
游泳，你连
even
狗
the
都
dog
不如啊。
can swim. ”
小明讲
You're worse than：“ a
老
dog.
师，那你会
And
游泳？
Xiaoming said, how
老
about
师讲
you?
会
Do you know how to swim? And the teacher said,
那你跟
yes.
狗有什么区别？
Then aren't you the same as a dog? It's funny.
有一个精神病患救了一个落水者。
That's a mentally ill patient that saved someone's drowning, and then the psychiatrist praised him. So you save a drowning person, so that's a great performance. But then he also killed himself by hanging himself. And then the mentally ill patient said, "Oh, I was trying to dry him out, hang him." And Amitabha. Om Mani Padme Hum.